So, life insurance. You'd think it's pretty straightforward, right? You pay a little something each month, and if the worst happens, your family's taken care of. But, like a lot of things in finance, what looks simple from the outside is actually, well, a whole lot more complicated. Let's dig in.
Yeah, most of us just see it as a basic safety net. You sign up, pay the bell, and boom, you're covered. Simple. But the real story, it's way more interesting than that.
I mean, what if I told you that the life insurance policy your cousin who works for the government has is from a totally different planet than the one your buddy's trying to sell you? Seriously.
So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this and explore 3 totally different worlds of life insurance. We'll kick things off with the government's no-frills safety net. Then, we'll dive headfirst into the wild world of the private market, see how it's all sold, and wrap up with how you can make sense of this whole thing.
All right, let's start with our baseline. This is the plan that millions of U.S. federal employees get. It's called FEGLI, and you really can't get more standardized than this.
So, FEGLI, that stands for the Federal Employees Group Life Insurance Program. And get this, it's the biggest group life insurance program on the planet. If you're a Fed, you're automatically in the basic plan unless you go out of your way to say no thanks. It's really just meant to be that fundamental core layer of protection.
Okay, and this is the key thing to understand right here. FEGLI is what's called group term insurance. The 2 phrases you got to remember are no cash value and you can't get a loan from it. This is just pure, simple protection. It's a death benefit, period. This is not some kind of investment or a piggy bank for your future.
And here's how they structure it. It's pretty straightforward. You've got the basic plan, right? That's the one you get automatically, and the government even helps pay for it. Then you can add on extra stuff, like a flat $10,000 policy or coverage that's a few times your salary, or even plans for your family. But catch? For all those extras, you're paying 100% of the cost. It's kind of like a simple pick-and-choose cafeteria menu.
Okay, so let's shift gears and jump into our second world. We're leaving that standardized, one-size-fits-all government plan behind and stepping into the super competitive private market. And for this, we're going to look at a company called National Life Group. Now, these guys have been around for a whopping 175 years, but they're all about innovation.
And this quote right here from one of their own training sessions for agents, it totally nails the vibe. The private market isn't about just sitting back and offering a standard product. No. It's all about hustling, creating and selling really unique solutions. It's high energy, it's super competitive, and it is all about the sale.
So, how do they actually compete? Well, they get really smart about finding and serving very specific groups of people, niches. They build these flexible products and strategies for folks that other insurance companies might just ignore. The whole goal is to have a unique answer for all sorts of different financial puzzles.
And here's the absolute game changer. Their main product is fundamentally different. We're not talking about simple term insurance anymore. They're all about products like Index Universal Life, or IUL for short. And this is not just about a death benefit. It's sold as this cool hybrid, right? Part protection, part investment. Your cash can actually grow based on how the stock market does. The idea is it builds value that you can tap into later in life.
So check this out. This is an example straight from their training for new agents. You've got a 40-year-old client and they're putting in $1,000 a month. That's what goes in.
And here's the magic number they project. When that person hits 65, they can start pulling out over $47,000 a year, completely tax-free. Think about that pitch. It's powerful. You put in 12 grand a year and you get 47 grand a year back out. They sell it as almost a 4-to-1 return on your money. Suddenly, the whole conversation isn't about a death benefit anymore. It's about funding your retirement.
Okay, let's just hit pause for a second and look at these 2 side by side. On one hand, you've got the government plan. Simple term insurance, no cash value, totally standardized, and you're in it automatically. On the other hand, you have the private market's big pitch, the potential for your money to grow, products tailored to niche groups, and it's all sold to you by an agent. I mean, sure, they're both called life insurance, but they are playing 2 completely different sports.
And that brings us to our third and final world, the engine that actually makes the private market run. How did these really complex products even get into the hands of regular people? The answer, almost always, is through this huge, sprawling network of independent agents.
A lot of these agents, you'll find, work with organizations called things like Premier Financial Alliance, or PFA. And if you go to their own website, they'll tell you they provide a platform for people to become partners in this big business network. Basically, you get access to products from companies like National Life Group, and you get training and a mentor to help you out.
And a huge piece of this business model is all about recruitment. You go to these big industry events like one called The Great Collaboration, and they straight up incentivize agents to bring more people in. Like this training session we saw literally says if you bring 5 new people who aren't already in the business, to the next big conference, they'll pay for your hotel room. So it's a model that's not just about selling, it's about building a team of other sellers underneath you.
Okay, wow. So we've just walked through 3 incredibly different worlds that all somehow fit under the same banner of life insurance. You've got the plain vanilla government plan, the fancy private product, and the sales army that's driven by networking. So what in the world does this all mean for you?
Well, it means that to really get a handle on this industry, you've got to see these 3 different pieces of the puzzle. There's the safety net, that's the simple, straightforward stuff. Then there's the innovator, the companies making these complex products with more bells and whistles and maybe more risk. And finally, you have the network, the actual people, the engine that's out there selling it all. So the next time you find yourself talking to someone about life insurance, just stop and ask yourself this one question. Which world is this coming from? Am I being offered a simple safety net, a clever investment hybrid, or am I being offered a chance to join the sales network itself? Because knowing which world you've just stepped into, that's the absolute first step to making a smart decision.